The large, sprawling open-world games that Rockstar create are home to many secrets. From Bigfoot to Mount Chiliad, serial killers to time travelers, today we're looking at the mystery of the Strange Man. Hello and welcome back to Deep Cuts, a show that examines lore, backstories, and theories in video games. John Marston, the protagonist of the first Red Dead Redemption game, is the epitome of an anti-hero. A former outlaw, he's got a super shady past, but he's trying to get back on the right side of the law. And seemingly the only path to reuniting with his family is to aid the authorities in tracking down members of his former gang, the Vanderlinde Gang. During John's exploits in Red Dead Redemption, he encounters a man in black, a strange man with no name, no clear motive, or goal. In the game, he simply goes by the name, the Strange Man. John doesn't know or recognize this man, but he knows John, and he knows what he's done.
You're the man who shot a bunch of banditos as soon as he turned up in this country. You're a man who decided right and wrong.
Able to bring forth specific facts and details about John's previous deeds. Of course, this makes John super defensive. What does he want? What's his angle?
Do I know you?
I hope so. I seem to know you.
He doesn't seem to have one. Instead, what he offers John is a couple quests. Missions with clear moral choices for John, or the player, to make. Both are rather short endeavors. First, choosing to either persuade or dissuade a man from cheating on his wife, and the other mission, simply choose to donate to a nun, or to rob her blind. Regardless of what the player chooses, the outcome is always the same.
Tell me your damn name and where you know me from.
The third and final encounter with the Strange Man has John losing his patience, and he pulls out his revolver and shoots the man 3 times. However, the bullets have no effect. Just who is this guy? Who is this Strange Man? Well, there are a few interesting details that may point us in the right direction. It's clear the Strange Man knows a lot about John's past, but given how he's also aware of the man who may cheat on his wife, or the nun who's ripe for the robbing, things happening in entirely different places at that very moment, there's almost a sense that this man is omnipresent, and perhaps also aware of things that are yet to happen.
I'll let the appropriate authorities judge my morality, friend.
Yes, you will. And they shall.
The final interaction with the Strange Man occurs just outside Beecher's Hope. As he looks off into the distance, he says to John,
Ain't this a beautiful spot?
We all know how it ends for John, and this spot just outside Beecher's Hope, it's exactly where John gets buried.
This is a fine spot.
See you around, cowboy.
This has led people to believe that the Strange Man is some sort of higher power. The line of dialogue,
Damn you!
Yes, many have.
it's pretty on the nose. When John fires his revolver at the Strange Man in their final encounter, he fires 3 shots. However, if you look closely, John attempts to fire a 4th time. The gun jams. By the end of the final mission, John, Abigail, and Uncle die. However, Jack lives on. The Strange Man also claims that he's an accountant of sorts. Accountant? Checks and balances, possibly hinting that he is death itself. The speculation over this character has been super interesting. I love stuff like this. And it went on for like 8 years, until Red Dead Redemption 2 was released. Mind you, this game was a prequel. And the Strange Man, once again, makes an appearance. In the area of Lemoyne, players can find an abandoned shack that may possibly belong to the Strange Man. Visiting the shack as Arthur shows an incomplete painting in the middle of the room. However, returning in the game later as John, on repeat visits over time, the painting will begin to finish itself. At 100% game completion, the painting too is completed. The Strange Man. Examining the painting once it's finished will prompt John to write about it in his notebook. This place made me feel like I was being watched. Queerest feeling I ever felt, hard to explain. Fascinating and awful and seductive all at once. And observant players may have noticed, before examining the completed painting, you can spot to the left, in the mirror, the Strange Man watching you. Besides the painting and the reflection in the mirror, there's other important clues hidden throughout the room. Written all over the walls, cryptic messages that are references to John, such as from the snow to the cave. The phrase "I know you" directly referencing the strange man's quest line in Red Dead 1. And most importantly, we get direct references to the town of Armadillo, including a map. Doesn't get more direct than that. Written on the map, "I offered you happiness," or 2 generations. You made your choice. Could the strange man have made some sort of deal with someone in Armadillo? At this point in the game, Armadillo, it's not doing so hot. The town has been hit with a serious sickness, cholera. They've resorted to burning the bodies as they're piling up quicker than they can bury them. Posters are plastered all over town warning people not to drink the water. This also harkens back to the strange man's shack. The water is black with venom.
I can tell you got no decency.
You'll soon be dead.
Talking to the bartender, it seems that everyone in town is suffering, except for the owner of the general store.
Apart from that son of a bitch who runs the general store, that might be the cruelest irony of them all.
Visiting the general store, the very first thing that John notices is a certain photograph behind the counter.
Who's that?
I don't know. It's just a little portrait somebody gave me once. I always quite liked it. Why?
No reason. Just seemed familiar.
The strange man! Real subtle. The shopkeep is named Herbert Moon. The moon will shine on in the darkness. The more we learn about Herbert Moon, the more it becomes clear he's not a very good person.
Well, I don't like Jews. Or colored folk.
But why is everyone in town suffering from cholera and not him? And why does he keep a photo of the strange man behind the counter? We know the strange man likely made a deal with someone in Armadillo. And now, I think it's clear we know who. Happiness or 2 generations. There's only one way to get to the bottom of this. Inside Herbert's pockets, we find a letter from his daughter. First of all, her name is Herberta? Seriously? From the letter, we learn that Herbert's daughter had a child with a Jewish man, Isaac, and she's seeking acceptance. But, knowing our boy Herbert, that's likely a hard no. Happiness or 2 generations. Now, I've seen a lot of opinions and theories about this one online, and if Cuphead has taught us anything, it's that you don't deal with the devil. You usually don't get what you wish for. A theory that I see a lot is that perhaps Herbert wanted a grandchild, but in order to do so had to sacrifice his own happiness. So he got a grandchild, but not in the way that he wanted. I'm not a huge fan of this theory because it doesn't have any correlation with the cholera outbreak, which this is clearly part of. The other theory that I have, which I like a little bit more, is that before he made the deal with the strange man, his daughter had already had a child with the Jewish man Isaac. So he willingly cut her off from his life in exchange for his own happiness. He's kind of a dick, so that's not super surprising. So Herbert becomes the most prosperous man in town, just at the expense of everyone else.
That might be the cruelest irony of them all.
This, I think, ties into the bigger picture because clearly the strange man is the force behind the cholera outbreak. Not far from Armadillo, you can find a man camping by himself who shares some interesting information.
Folk there calling it a curse. And I ain't a superstitious man, but it's hard not to see it any other way. They're saying this figure appears sometimes there in the distance. Black suit and big top hat, then disappears. Shadowy, like he ain't of this mortal realm.
Whether he's death or he's the devil, either way, the strange man is not someone you want to do business with. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Deep Cuts. Of course, as always, let me know what you thought about it in the comments section. And if you liked the video, please hit the like button. It helps me a lot. Thanks again. Peace.